Hello, hello. If somebody could let me know if they can hear me in the chat, that would be great. We could get started. Now, there's some stuff that maybe I want to address at first if that's what people want. I might go down like a quick rundown of some things. I have Tom coming on. I'm gonna let him on right now. So let me let Tom on, and then I'll fill you guys in on what happened. Just briefly, because I don't want to give these fools any extra time, you know? Hold on, let me get Tom. Good morning, Tom. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, good. How about you? Good morning.
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there. I just probably want to catch these guys up on what happened last night real quick.
Sure.
Like, give them the brief version because, it happened last night in the middle of the night, and so I did a stream last night, but I put it on private because there was some personal stuff, that I didn't know if people had written personal messages in the chat or whatever, so I'll probably make that public if no one cares. But anyway, last night I went over to Urban Disciples to, I saw that he was live. I went over there and was gonna if he dropped the link, I was gonna go on and talk to him about his videos and stuff, and ask him if he wanted to talk about flat Earth. Just another way of reaching out, right? And I get on there and I don't know, some guy in the chat box was heckling me about when Mary Jo died, Um yeah, no, a lot of people missed it, And don't worry about it, guys. So 10 years ago my girlfriend died of a drug overdose, and these people are always trying to you know, question me about it in a way that I don't know. I guess the whole motivation is to twist it to make it sound like it was. I don't know. I don't know what their motivation is, but it sounds like they're trying to twist it to make it sound like I had more something to do with it, right? Which is really cold blooded, man. Like um I told Tony the story, openly told him that, right? As part of I'll tell anybody that's my friend openly about that, But I got some of the dates wrong, I forgot to I mixed up in my head 12 years ago and 2012, right when I was explaining it one time, and I didn't know the dates really of how old the kids were exactly and stuff. But he kept hammering me on that, trying to get me to get me nervous and it's like, okay, well, even if I tell you the story perfect, what's your point, like you know it's just like any other disease. She had a disease, she was fighting it, and she couldn't quit, and we did everything we could for her, and it's something I've dealt with addiction, right? And I quit by that time, and so it was devastating, right? And so why bring that up, right? If you know it's just messed up, man. It's perverted, man, bringing that kind of stuff up and trying to I don't know, trying to make it look like something it's not, and and I had my kid in the chat last night, my son came in, right? And so my son had to hear that story again, and I haven't told. He was a little kid when that happened, so it's something that I wouldn't be talking to him about very much, and so I haven't heard from him yet this morning, so I hope he's okay, because he heard it last night too. But I'm open about that stuff. There's nothing about any of that that I'm not open about. He just wants to take the most, extreme part of it, right? And they make that the whole, I don't know. It's games, man. But anyway, it made me nervous, and I probably didn't do well. And who cares, right? So anyway, I have Tom on. How you doing today, Tom? What's going on, buddy? Tom, are you? You're on mute, bud. Well, anyway, when Tom gets back, then he can come back on. I don't know what's going on with his sound. Unless you guys can hear him. Can you hear Tom? I don't know. Maybe he put himself on mute to go help a customer because he's at work too, you know. And so it really is it's my fault, right? Because I reached out over there, right? I know that they're all connected, right? I'm not stupid, man. And I know, because there's no way that a person's gonna let another person on their channel that, calls them all kinds of names and stuff. There's no way unless they're connected somehow. Are you there, Tom?
I am.
All right, yeah, yeah. So I'm done talking about all that. I mean, I should know better reaching out, right? But like I'm attached to people like Arwen and Urban, right? And all these people I think I have a soft spot for these people, thinking that I want them to make it. I want them to feel understood, right? I could see their vulnerabilities, right? But it's over and over and over again. It's not worth it, you know. I mean, no, it is worth it. That's the problem. Is I do care, man. Like, what's the point of being a reader of the word if you're not going to go out and do it, you know? And so, yeah, I put my neck out there to look like an idiot, and so whatever, and I'm
But
not a
here's the thing:
victim.
I mean, you put the word out there to them. You've talked to them. I mean, if they come to you and are seeking stuff, then be there for them. If not, I mean, there's nothing you need to do to prove yourself to them or to go out of your way to be abused and be treated like that. I mean, that's just demonic on their end. And, there's no biblical obligation for you to keep going back and back and back if they're not reaching out to you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Paul, when and all the apostles, when they'd go preach, if they weren't accepted, if they were rejected, they'd just leave. They didn't have to keep going back and get beat and tortured.
I,
I mean, you spread
I
the
guess
word.
I guess
You plant the seed. It's on God to water it.
I was getting like excited about the fact that that he would come here once in a while, right? And listen in or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, man. Maybe maybe he is listening. Maybe he could see what a real Christian uh is like, because there's so many bad Christians out there, right? That use Jesus as like a scapegoat. And so I figured, like, if he saw somebody that like had problems in their life and was really trying to work hard on being a better person, right? Like that would be encouraging, right? Because I mean, I do try to help everybody here, and I do try to, like, on a daily basis, show who I am as a person, right? It would be pretty hard to fake who I am, every day for the last however many years or whatever. Like,
But there's a
I
couple other
don't,
people, Steve. I mean, they're just in there looking for weaknesses, looking for something to exploit.
yeah,
They're not seeking truth. I mean, they didn't come to you and, hey, Steve, what does James 1:3 mean or nothing like that, or what's John 3:16 all about? I mean, they're just in there snooping, trying to get a video for themselves, to get clicks.
yeah,
I mean, that's the difference. They're not actually
that's
looking
what it
for,
is.
yeah, they're
You're
not
right.
looking for truth.
You're right.
And
And
it's sad.
really,
And I understand where you're coming from. I mean, because you want to do good for these people and you know what the prize that's at the end of this thing, and they don't. I mean, you might know it, but you don't have that full understanding and that spiritual feeling of what we got coming to us soon.
I know, man. And that's the thing, right? They don't like realize, right? The lake of fire is real, man. This is gonna happen, man. And really, like, when we reach out to people that aren't saved, right? I know it's not a good scenario for me. Of course I know that I'm gonna go over there and probably get mocked or made fun of or abused or whatever. Of course I know that. Of course I know that there's more people connected than I know about, right? Of course they're all smart and connected and happy and they're gonna bully me. I know all that. I'm not an idiot, right? Like, I just go over there hoping that within each moment, right? Even though it's all connected and stacked against me, right? That someone will hear something, right? And so when you're being trolled, right? Like, because here's the thing, right? This channel is not going to get promoted, to new people on YouTube. It's not. It's dead, right? the only way I'm gonna reach people that are lost, right, is if I get trolled, they rebroadcast my stream, they provide the people that are lost, and they, watch my show. If they didn't watch my show or troll me, right, I wouldn't reach any lost people.
Right. I got
So
you.
so really, it's beneficial to the show, right, that they do that. The hard part is, right, is I don't care if they troll me about something that happened in my past, right, because I'm not running or hiding from my past. Like, I'll be open about that. What's hurtful, right, is when you try to extend some friendship, right? That's what hurts, man, because you're like,
And they
oh wow, thought you were my friend, man,
and that's the thing, Steve. They want you to hurt. They want to cause that pain because they're in pain. I mean, they're lost. They're going to hell.
Yeah, they gotta be hurt,
You
man.
know.
Gotta be
But
hurting to want to, like, intentionally,
when
try to
your
make
mission
things
in
look,
life is
you
just
know
to go out and destroy or hurt other people, you know you're hurting inside. You know what I'm saying, Steve?
yeah. And see, that's what I thought. Like, see, I don't go messing with Tony, right? Because I just figure, okay, well, he's just, I'm not gonna be able to help him. Someone else is gonna have to be able to help him. I'm not the one, right? He wouldn't accept help from me anyway, right? But
Right.
with Urban, I thought like there was a slight chance because like I do see his vulnerabilities. I do see like in his art and stuff like that. What like his expression and stuff like I do see what he's saying. He's not right most of the time with some of it, right? But I see his expression and what he's trying to portray. He deals with a lot of crap from people that think it's no big deal, like especially the race stuff and all that. That I feel for him, man. I get it, right? And he doesn't react to those people in a mean way, right? They act like it's no big deal, but then when anything comes the other way, then they flip out, right? So I get what he's saying, right? And I felt like I had some understanding of this dude, right? And I'm like, maybe that'll help because I know he's an outspoken non-Christian. He talks bad about my God. The thing, I mean, I love God more than anything in this world. It hurts me when he says stuff about God like that. And you just anyway. But now I know better, right? And you're right. It's all a game to them, But when you care, you leave your heart soft. That's the
Right.
crazy part.
Right. I mean, just look how many times Jesus cried.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah,
reached
he left everything out there.
reached out to demons and stuff. Remember, Jesus went all the way out and like searched out any kind of like sinner or someone that needed healing or some broken person, right? That needed help, right? And these people are far from broken. These are people that are in, you know what I mean? It's like
Right.
like I really need to like focus on the people that are here that really count on me every day. That count on me calling them and our talks. And I mean, some people have grown so much, right? And I'm so proud of them. And I can't even believe that I'm qualified for any of this, right? Like it just really is magical because like I didn't study anything. I don't know anything, you know. It just like it's a lot of this stuff is happening, just happening to me,
Well, you just think about those people who wrote the Bible, Steve. They didn't go to college. They didn't go to seminary school. You know, they
Right?
read. God teaches you. God taught them. God teaches us. You don't have to go get it indoctrinated to know how to witness to somebody. You
Yeah,
know, preach the gospel, man. Spread the word. That's what it's all about. We don't need knowing how to. Jesus shows us how to do that, right?
yeah. No, he did, and you're right, Red Scars. It is, I mean, Red Skies. It is the never-ending story. It's like, but that's the mission, right? Like, what I think what people don't get right is yes, I more than anything, I just want to have, take care of the people in this chat and have everyone be comfortable and no fights and all this stuff, right? But in reality, right, we got to reach out to people that are going to be hard to love, man, right? Because we don't want people to go in a lake of fire, man.
Right.
And it's not about being a good person, a bad person, whatever. There's going to be people far better than me that are going to go in that lake.
Well, my Bible says there is no one righteous, no, not one.
No one. We all have stuff
No,
in our
not
lives.
one. You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be nobody there better or worse than any one of us. We're all gonna make it by the grace of God. Period.
That's
Wasn't for
right.
His blood, we'd all be getting burnt up.
I mean, that's what it's all about, you know. And I figured, well, it's a fallen world where, oh, hey, Mr. Gander, hey, it's Shannon. And so if I didn't say hi to all you guys, man, I mean, I'm saying hi, Luke, and all and everybody, right? I hope I'm saying hi to everybody, but you know, I don't see Clutch in there or anything, but like, you know, I mean, it's like oh man, I don't know, man. So how's it going for you, man? Is anything new out there in the world, man, that you're focused on, or
Me? No, I'm
yeah,
just doing some woodworking, and other than that, regular work, but just trying to survive this winter. We got blasted with a big storm last night.
yeah, a lot of people were getting storms. I know that I talked to a couple of people. There was rain and there was lightning storms and stuff. And you know, like Cindy was saying yesterday, that like when the weather's like that, you almost want God to come down and get us. You know, you know, like maybe that weather means that He's coming, or I don't know, or that when it.
Yeah, well, we get this weather every year. I
I
mean, believe me,
know.
when there's some major thunder and lightning storm is all, I'm always looking up to see if I'm going to get snatched out of here.
Yeah, I
You know what I'm
know,
saying? I
man.
mean, I'm ready to get out of here.
I'm ready, man. I mean,
And
I'm
here's
ready.
what's been
'Cause,
on my mind though about this
yeah,
is you see what they're doing in New York and around the world where the mandatory and the forced jabs and all this stuff.
yeah,
I mean, I don't, what do us do who's not going to take that jab? What do we
yeah.
do? I mean, it may be months away, maybe a year away, but I mean, it's coming quick. What
It
what do,
is.
what do Christians do? I mean, I kind of got an idea what I plan on doing, but I
I'm
don't.
gonna die. I'm gonna die over it, man. Like, I mean, I've come. I mean, I know that that's like easy to say, right? And but that's the hill I chose, right? Like, I'm like, well, how far am I gonna go with this? Is what I
Well,
was
yeah,
thinking, right?
and I guess my
You
thing
know,
is, do we let them haul us off to the concentration camp, or do we hold court right then and there? You know what I'm saying? Because
I
I'm
mean,
ready
I
to
would,
die, bro. I'm
if,
ready.
right? If I had to choose, I would rather die than go to the camp or whatever.
Right, right.
You know, and but it says in the Bible, right, that we would be in jail 10 days, right? That sounds like quarantine to me.
Where is that? At? I don't know that one. I never
So
heard of that.
In Revelation, the I don't know if it's the tribulation saints or hold on, let me look it up. But in Revelation, it says we can somebody look that up? The jail in they were going to be in jail in 10 days with the KJV. Just put that in Google search.
Yeah, because
It's
I
in
want to see
it's
that. I
it's in Revelation, and so it says that we will, if we don't take the mark of the beast, like we get jail for 10 days, and I think we get killed after that. Like it's pretty clear. Like is anybody willing to do that?
Are
Just
you
type
sure that's
in.
in? You sure that's in there, Steve?
Yeah. I'm positive. Here, I'll look it up myself. I'll do it. Hold on a second. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing: if it's past chapter 4, in between chapter 4 and chapter 19, that's got to be those
Yeah. It would
on
be.
that haven't made the rack. That because there is a rapture. It's pre-trib.
I think so. I mean, I think it's either pre-trib or mid-trib, depending on how you're looking at the thing. But a
And the
lot of
thing,
people
and if it is
go,
mid-trib, none of this stuff will happen to us because we'll be gone then. Because none of this stuff happens till after midway through the tribulation. The mark and
it's
all that stuff
it's
doesn't come until halfway past.
so it's Revelation. It's Revelation 2, chapter 2, verse 10.
Let me
Fear
read that.
none, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. So it's in prison sounds like quarantine to me. I mean, it's pretty eerily lining up, you know, because I was always wondering, like, what is 10 days in jail going to do? Like why 10 days in jail, and what could they possibly lock us up for? Like, why 10 days? Why not 10 years or 10 weeks?
Hmm.
But doesn't that eerily sound like Um, doesn't that eerily sound like, quarantine?
Well,
Like
absolutely
the
be the same thing because you're in prison. I mean,
no,
you
but
know,
like the 10 days sounds like, okay, if you're not going to take the mark, right? We're going to put you in quarantine for 10 days, and if you come out, right, and you don't want it still, then you get the guillotine or whatever. Oh, did I blow your mind, Luke? Did I
out
did
come
I blow?
out comes the lopper if you don't do it. If you don't take that,
Well, and you
the
know what?
dilopitator.
Like, hey, they could come today. Like that's how. I mean, well, then I was telling, so I was telling Cindy, right? But she doesn't want me to go without her. You know what I mean? Like, she wants to come too. But and I know everyone feels that way. We all want to go together, right? Like, none of us want to be stuck here, right? And so, I try to really. I talk to everyone that wants that. I don't know, man. It seems like such a weird, messed up thing, right? But like, I want people to know that it's mostly mind control, right? It's mostly trying to get you to fear, um, trying to get you to fear what they can do, but they really can't do it.
Right.
Like, can somebody post Romans 13:1 through 7? Oh yeah, that's too much, huh? Does somebody want to read Romans 13:1 through 7? And then I'll read this one right here. I look at that I look at it like that was that generation. He was speaking to them in Revelations 20, I believe in my heart. Yeah, and we could be in Revelations 20. The only thing, right, that okay, we could be, and that would be exciting to study, right? Because that's the thing that's probably has the most to learn, right? The most stuff to study to learn. But we would have to reconcile where Israel is, would have to be in a totally different spot, and all the features of the cities and rivers and all that would have to line up, right? Like, because Jesus went to these physical locations, and so did Moses, and in the desert and going to Egypt and all these things, right? So it would mean that like they're totally lying about where Israel is, where everything is, and that could be true. So I want to say that, you know, to not offend you. It's not what I believe, but I'm open to that. You know, does that make it? I hope I said that with the most respect possible. Because I know we're all learning. We've all been lied to. Even when you see the truth, sometimes you're like, "Oh, is that it, man? Are you sure?" And it takes a few times looking at it maybe to get it. And maybe I'm the one that needs to look at your thing more, or you need to look at my thing more, or whatever, right? But we'll get there, right? We'll get there. And so I don't know how you feel about that, Tom. I know that we pretty much believe almost the same thing, right?
Right. Right.
And so it's common to think, well, the 144,000 gets sealed, then it's the resurrection of the dead in Christ, and um, rapture of the church, right? And then mark of the beast, man of sin, two witnesses, then the tribulation saints and martyrs, and then the day of the Lord.
Angels flying through the air preaching the gospel.
Yeah, yeah.
So no one will be without excuse. I mean, because I get that a lot of people ask me that, like, once the church is gone, who's going to be preaching? How is the word going to get spread? Well, like you said, there's 144,000. You got angels flying through the mist of the sky in the air, flying around and preaching the gospel and stuff. And plus, everybody after that, the rapture takes place and all this stuff starts happening. I mean, everybody knows the word of God. They just don't believe it.
Well,
They'll know what happened.
I think like if you hear the gospel, this is what I think, right? Based on just precedents of what I've read, like, so I know that your heart gets hard if you deny God, right? Like if you hear the gospel and are in denial about it or don't want to hear it, like your heart will get a little harder, right?
Hmm.
If you keep sinning in a certain way, you'll get a reprobate mind,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
there is a way of getting like to a point where you like even when you hear the word of God, it doesn't have any real effect of you. Like you're doing it to yourself, making it harder, right? And so when all these things are flying around and Jesus is right in your face, it will still be hard to accept it. Does that
Oh,
make sense?
yeah,
Does that
yeah.
make sense? I mean, you'd be so messed up from being reprobate and full of sin and full of demons, right? That I don't know. It's like it's in Satan's nature to think that it's not over, or to he can't not be himself. You can't reason with the devil.
No, and getting back to that Revelation 2:10, it doesn't look like everybody's going to get cast into prison, but some are.
Yeah.
I just wonder if them are the born again, the messianic Jews.
Well, you wonder, right? You wonder if this is what I thought it was, right? Is that we're all lined up there to get the mark of the beast, right? But like we're not getting the mark of the beast, right? Because that would be faithless works, right? So we would get our test of faith right then, right? So
We won't even,
we either
no,
have to die or get raptured at that point. There's no other way.
because we'll be gone before the mark of the beast even comes.
Well, then that's the other thing I was thinking about, is that we're raptured out of there. If we're not raptured out of there, we die at that point. But it's so hard because like there's people that are dug in about like where they are in the eschatology of it, and it's frustrating because everybody thinks they're right. And I have this curse, right, or gift or whatever, right, that I see things from all different sides, right. And it's frustrating because even when somebody's wrong, right, and I know that they're wrong, right, I see how they got there. I'm like, oh, I see how you got there, but and you're not willing to let that go. Are you sure? You know what I mean? It's hard to convince somebody that thinks that their whole life, or learned it from their dad or learned it from somebody they care about. Because this world's full of lies, right? What do you trust, right?
Yeah, and we were in that same boat. I mean, we used to believe
Right,
all them lies, right? I mean,
right, right. I don't know. It's more of a psychological thing, right, than it is a truth thing, because you could put the truth in front of them, right? And if they believe the thing strongly, like it's just like ballers, man, like globe right? They just won't let it go, man. Even though the truth is in front of them, it's mentally it will hurt them. They're in pain, right?
and
I
I'll
want to read.
guarantee you some of them actually do know, but they just can't accept that fact.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying.
Anyone, you ever see that movie, the
Um,
City of Angels, with Nicolas Cage and I
I
can
have, I have,
it's like
yes,
that. It's like that point, that one point in the movie where he tells her that he was an angel, he fell, and she's like, I can't even conceive of it. I mean, that's what them people are with everything they believe. The opposite, the truth part of it, they can't conceive that it's actually real. It's like
right,
atheists; they just can't conceive the idea that God actually is legit. He's real. These people
right,
can't, even though they know it, they can't. Their mind just won't let them accept the truth, the flat Earth, rapture, God, anything.
yeah.
I mean,
I
look how
mean,
we've been so brainwashed and indoctrinated over these
well,
disease
listen.
causing bugs that don't exist anywhere.
Oh,
I mean,
exactly.
and not
Well,
just this one, but all of them don't
this is what.
exist.
Right, right. No virus ever, right?
None.
But
I
like,
don't know if I could say that word.
I gotta be fair. Yeah, yeah, I know, I
I was
know,
trying to be careful, Steve. I don't know.
I know. Well, there's a way I can kind of get around. I can kind of distance my words from that word right there. But like, Cindy shared a video about like, I mean, I know I'm mentioning Cindy a lot now, throwing her under the bus, but she sent a video. She's like, "This is the best news ever. This is the most like." It was, the no V's, right? The no bugs, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I told you that 2 years ago. Me and Tom were looking at that with
Andy Kaufman.
yeah, with Andy Kaufman, and she was like, you don't have to act like you knew or whatever. I'm like, no, it was serious. That was like our first thing that we were like that we got
Oh, right
into,
off the bat. Right off the
right off
bat.
the bat. Yeah, you were the one really that knew all the stuff and was telling everybody.
Kaufman, Cowan, Carrie Madej. Even though that Carrie Madej, there's something wrong with her, something off about her. She does put
Yeah,
out a lot of truth, though. But Kaufman and Cowan are just phenomenal.
they are.
That Vladimir, I think his name is Zelenko. I mean, Tenpenny, Northrop. I mean, there's just tons of them out there now.
I mean, the thing is like like I don't know about anybody's intentions or what groups they were in or anything like all I know is the information from the Koch postulates
Cox, yeah,
is is legit. It's
legit.
that's that's provable stuff, man.
And
Like
beyond, and they even go further than that. You know, they could never prove anything using Koch's postulates, so they had to come up with a weaker version, and they still can't even with the newer version that they came up with. They still couldn't
right,
satisfy all of the criteria.
right, because then they had like what the gold standard, and then what was the other one, the rivers criteria or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure what they were. I mean, I've seen, I've seen these doctors present the information, and they still can't
So
satisfy those.
so
So, I mean,
they couldn't, I want to say for the audience here, like they couldn't isolate the
bug,
V to show that it causes a disease. So in a sense, like if I say if I have cancer, I'll get a lot of white blood cells, but it doesn't mean that the white blood cells are causing my cancer, right? Like you have to isolate the cancer to show that it's eating my body, to say that it's from that, right? You know what I mean? You have
complete
to isolate,
isolation, yes.
yeah. And so I tried to explain that in a weird way. It's like if you isolate the white blood cells, you'll know that that's not hurting me at all, you know. But they can't even isolate it to show that it
Correct.
causes anything. And really, what we were talking about right back then was that it was like some kind of clean out process. Like those bugs were like in
De-
our body, and
detoxifying exosomes, they're called.
right, right. And so that anybody detoxing from any kind of
Anything.
poison, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
And that's where your colds and flus and all that stuff comes from, is just your body detoxing. It's not, you don't catch any of it. You're getting rid of, I mean, we've been breathing in pollen, like say in a springtime or what, fall time, all the different things that happen in nature naturally, the bad air we breathe in. So a couple of times a year, our bodies purge, or we get runny noses, we cough to get our lungs cleared, we sneeze to clear our sinuses. I mean, that's just natural. It's nature taking its course. I mean, God created these bodies, just an
yeah,
awesome, awesome machine. They're flawless outside of sin. I mean, they do what they're
right,
designed to do. And
that's
everything
right,
man does, when you catch it, say you have a cold, or they try to stop that. Well, that's making the whatever's going on takes longer for your body to get rid of them poisons. You need to
right,
sneeze, you
because
need to
like
blow your nose, you need to cough and hack stuff out of your lungs.
well, because like allopathic medicine would be like treating your symptoms, right? Like, oh, okay, I feel achy and all that. Well, I want to take this medicine so I don't feel achy, but it doesn't solve your problem. It just
No, it's terrain versus germ theory. It's that
right,
simple.
yeah. And so it's crazy, man. And like the sick part about it is, right? I could be on here all day long and say, get the jab, say the words and everything, right? And it's all good, right? The minute I say, hey, maybe you guys should think about it, that's advice, right? Like if I say that, right, that's advice, right? But if I say, I'm not gonna get it, I can say that. I'm allowed to say what I'm gonna do. But there's all these nuanced ways to talk to how am I gonna reach any new people, right? They know what they're doing, right? We're gonna have these echo chambers of all these code words and no one's gonna know what the heck we're talking about, you know?
Well, yeah,
It's sad, man.
and it's hard to find good content. It's hard to find sites out there where these videos aren't taken down, or the sites are so small, no one really is watching. I mean, once YouTube really started putting the hammer down on all this stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
just millions of people were affected by not being able to get real information.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just think of the video we had pulled down got taken off of our channel with Dr. Kaufman. And that was early on. I mean, that was a year and a half, almost 2 years ago and all we did
Yeah.
was mirror that. And
Yeah.
they back everything up with the scientific proof, the data,
Everything was on there. All the charts, all the data, all the source
the
material,
links, yeah, all the
everything.
source. Yep, yep.
Everything. And they took not only they take our video, but they took all the views off of our channel. Like
Hmm.
they took more views than the video got, you know.
Right.
But I
Well,
mean
it
that's
just shows
great.
you that they're up to something, right?
Yeah. But that was by far like the best video we had. Like that was in the thousands of
Right.
viewers. and we didn't have anything close to 200. I think Worldly Parables is our next best one. Has got 200 and something. You know, we don't get a lot of hits over here. You know, sometimes I miss being trolled when we're not being trolled because I'm like, man, how am I going to reach these new people? Like, where am I going to go to find all these lost people that haven't heard the gospel, right? Because everyone that comes here is like, oh, we all believe the same thing, you know? And so it's kind of echoey, right? Hey, Cold Springs, you haven't heard a lot about the mark? I mean, that you haven't studied any of that in the Bible about not being able to buy or sell if you don't have the mark? Because I can give you my theory of what I think it is, right? I think it's going to be they're going to want to do like an ID for this, you know, for these jabs or whatever, right?
Digital ID, yes.
Right, and I think that they'll start with like a card maybe, and then they'll say, oh, there are people counterfeiting the cards, you know, like we have to find a way so no one can counterfeit them. Let's put it on your body, then no one can fake it, you know. And next thing you know, you got numbers on your arm or something, you know, because it says mark in the skin, right? It's got to go in your skin
It's
somehow,
like it
right?
says, yeah, that word mark is like a etch, a scratch.
Etch. It could be microchips too. It could be a
Yes,
microchip, but there'll be like a number, I think,
a barcode of some
to
sort.
read. Yeah, there'll be something outside to read. But see, it specifically says, right? Like, I mean, God is very purposeful with his words, right? And it says right before that that it's those who worship the beast will take like
Yes.
yeah, so like you got to work like you would have to be one of these people in a position to worship the beast, you know? And so there are going to be people that it says even the very elect could be deceived if that were possible. And so it's going to be a very deceptive this you know man of sin or this guy that's going to come on the scene that might make everything better, right? Take away all the mandates and you know, I mean, it might just be a better, you know what I mean? He might clean it up and be like, hey, this guy's got it right, you know? And people are going to worship him somehow. He'll be like, I don't know, they'll put play in like he's part alien or part something or part computer or whatever, right? Like something worshipable or whatever,
Well,
right? I guess.
think how the world worshipped Obama. Just think when this guy comes on the scene, when he does 100 times that of an Obama, as far as how he
Oh,
captivated
yeah.
the emotions and stuff of people. I mean, this guy's going to bring peace to the world. He's going to solve
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It's all fake, of course, but
That's
yeah.
right. And I think the key of it is you know, and I know how Sheila feels about it, right? She doesn't want to let go of like you know trying to make the world a better place, right? As in not give up, right? And I get that wanting to make the place around you better, but
Hmm.
the reality is this, right? Even if you could make this world better, the world it's really about letting go. Just let go. You know what I mean? I know that's hard to say, man. I'm not saying don't live your best life or don't try your best or whatever, but let go of this world as being anything for us.
Cause yeah, if you love
That's
the
all I could
world, you're
say,
gonna
right?
lose your life, man. There's nothing in this world worth loving. I mean, I'm
Just
not talking family and children and stuff like that, but just the world itself, living here, enjoying what God gave us. I mean, we are to enjoy it, but it should never be a priority. Our priority always should be just reaching that goal, getting to heaven when He comes calling.
yeah. No, I mean it's no, and I agree, Red Skies. I'm not a fan of any politician to be
None of them.
honest. Either one, you know.
But just look when he was running the first time, though. I mean, every time he'd give a speech, you'd see people in the audience in tears. I was at a customer's house once. She was talking about him. She would literally have tears flowing down her face. And I'm thinking, how deceived can you be?
Right.
And I've been telling people forever about these presidents that there doesn't matter if they're R or a D, they're all the same people. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they all do the exact same thing. They just come at it two different ways. But the end result is us being their slaves.
So Red Sky says, and I don't disagree. Now let me explain why it's nuanced, right? She says, I love this world, it's heaven, right? Now, I understand that this is a beautiful creation. God made a beautiful world. and it would have been beautiful for us had Adam not fallen, or whatever, right? It would be a remarkable place to be, and it still is a beautiful place, right? Minus the narrative, right? But since this world fell and God reconciled us back to Him, right? Through to clean up our sin, right? There is another place, right? That's being made for us that's even better, you know? And so that's the promise that God makes to us, that like, okay, while this place is beautiful, and especially if you can find the beauty in it and ignore the noise, right? That's great. There's you can go fishing, go on the mountains, look at the sunset. It's romantic, right? But there's another place for us that's even going to be better than that. And I think Jesus even said that he doesn't have the words to describe what the Father has prepared for us. Now, if God himself doesn't have the words,
Well,
right?
he doesn't say that. He says we can't understand that.
No, but what's the actual thing that he says? Like, there's no words to describe the
I
things
have
that.
not seen or ear heard or something like that.
But it's
Right?
just amazing how he said it, right? I'm gonna drop the link because Shannon she wants to join real quick to add something. Is that cool, Tom? Okay, is that cool?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, cool, 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 cool. Ever since I got StreamYard, I could add like 10 people on here.
Hey, can I
Wouldn't that
read
be?
this real
Yes,
quick?
absolutely. Yes,
It's
please.
First Corinthians chapter 2 verse 9. It says, "But as it is written, I have not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him." Is that the one you're
Oh,
talking about?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's amazing to me. To me, that sounds like it's worth letting go of the world, right?
It's
You know,
yeah, absolutely.
you know. Okay, let me get Shannon on here. Let me welcome her to the show. Hold on a second, Shannon. Hello, Shannon. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good morning, you guys. Morning, Tom.
Good morning, Shannon.
Okay, so I got all excited because when you guys were talking about the Mark of the Beast, before I met you guys, I had always assumed Mark of the Beast was things like tattoos and the jab. And then Stephen, when you mentioned stuff like these passes,
Yeah.
I sent you a link to a video. I know Chris saw it. It's freaking scary because it talked about Tesla is now putting out and creating not an iPhone, but he calls it the Pi phone, which I thought was kind of weird to name it that. But get this. Okay, so if you've seen the show Black Mirror and how preemptive that programming was, one of the last episodes in it was a guy in the society where they had these little chips behind the ears, and then he you were able to like put your memories up on the screen of your television, and you could rewind things and actually replay stuff, show your friends what you saw, what you heard, what you
Yeah.
experienced. And then you could also link up to somebody else's memories. And I guess he got cheated on, he got frustrated, he cut it open behind his ear and pulled out like a bead with a thread. And if you're following Tesla, I don't know if you've seen how Elon Musk is working on, it's like a Neuralink, right?
Yeah. That's right.
This new Python that they were advertising is supposed to help you with your life. It can actually link up to your vehicle, which to me is like, okay, if it's a safety feature in case someone steals your vehicle, it's also a feature that can help trap you in your vehicle or
Sure.
force your vehicle to drive somewhere you don't want it to go. Anytime you're linking something to your brain, to a
Yeah.
device,
Yeah.
what if it gets hacked? There was another thing on Neuralink and this new Pi phone that you would actually be able to control the phone without even touching it. You wouldn't
Yeah.
even have the phone in your hand. They actually showed a clip of this monkey playing freaking video game on a screen, and all it was doing was looking at it. It wasn't even using a controller. And they're experimenting this stuff on animals, and it's
Yeah.
it's freaky wild. But to me, when you talk about the mark of the beast and microchipping, this is the next level. this
That's
is
right.
this is this is something that they're implanting. And And it was mentioned that if it is a brain thread, these threads, if they're artificial intelligent, take on a life of its own and starts growing into your brain stem and your brain, and it starts spreading. I mean,
It's pretty
we're
scary.
gonna be freaking bot slaves.
That's
It's just
exactly what they're creating. And
Yeah,
yes,
talking about
because
that technology, though, I mean, they've been working on that for decades because they got stuff for fighter pilots and stuff, where they
yes,
fly the plane just by moving their head.
yeah,
yeah.
no.
Where they look
And
and where
simulators, right,
I mean,
Well, the
that's
right.
back
two
20, 30 years ago. They've been working on that already. So
well the two scary
And now
things.
they're introducing it as this wonderful thing, but it was a nightmare for me to watch that video.
Well,
I was messing my pants.
the two scary
it's
things about that kind of technology that get me right is one, if anything they put in you, they could put a back door in it, right? And
Right,
number two, right? Once you put like money or getting into your house or whatever, any kind of functioning inside your body, right? Like if money's outside of your body, you can always acquire it and use it to buy things. If
right.
it's inside your body, right? They could just turn you off, and you
Yeah,
can't do anything. So you really you want to be autonomous as a individual and have everything outside of you, but they're going
yes.
to make it seem like everything inside of you is better, and it is about control, you know.
And we really need to stop being so dependent on technology. There was a book I actually had read when I was a teenager by Dean Koontz called Demon Seed.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever read that, but
I've heard of it.
it's basically about an artificial intelligence home that traps a woman in it, and
there's a
they
movie on
it
that.
yes, yeah, oh yeah, they did make a movie. I think my husband mentioned that, but when I read the book, I had nightmares because of the implement, the implementation of that idea of being a prisoner in your own home, and it was supposedly for her own good. And but so many of these new technologies that are coming around, um, we're going to become slaves to it. And it's like Steven said, if they decide to shut us down one day, we've given them the right to do that by taking in, oh, the new Pi phone, I've got to have that.
Right?
Sure, just go ahead and insert that thing right in the back of my head. It's like you
It's
said, USB
crazy.
plugs. No, that's wrong. And
There's
I
people lining
wondered if,
up in droves to get it. Like they're like, I know
yeah,
when Elon was talking about the Neuralink, this was like even, I don't know, 2018 or even before that, right? There
right.
was already 300,000 people on Twitter saying, "Oh yeah, I want to be the first one." Before it's even approved by FDA, they had it in a couple of pigs or something like that. Like, I mean,
Yes,
this is some crazy stuff. People are lining up to get it in
Why do you think they're
droves,
putting all those satellites up there? And believe me, I don't believe they're in space. They got them on balloons and stuff. I
balloons.
get that
Yeah,
part, but I mean,
yeah,
right.
by the thousands. I mean, it's blanketing the whole world, and I mean, that they can spy, see everybody, like you say, turn you on or off. They can give you an upgrade. I
yeah.
mean, this stuff is legit.
Can you
Can
imagine a
you?
pop-up ad or something like that hitting your brain? Like just a
Has anyone
pop-up
seen the
Yeah.
ad.
movie? eh, Shannon, have you seen that movie Anon? Anon.
No, I
Check
haven't.
check that one out. You
Okay.
you will really appreciate that because it goes right along with what you were talking about here from that other guy, that book you read. But check out Anon.
Okay.
It's called. It's it.
Anon. ANON.
Yep, Anon. Yep.
Okay, I've written it down.
You'll see the
I will.
technology that they're working on. I mean, it's when they put movies out like this, it's because they can do this stuff. They always tell you the truth, whether it's in a
Yeah.
song or in the music and a cartoon. It doesn't matter. It's they have to tell us. It's up
That's
to you to accept
yes.
it or just say it's just a movie, or you can say, hey, this it's just like the movies, the Hunger Games that
Yeah.
we're living at right now, right?
It's kind of like a requirement that they have to at least insinuate something, like that's why we have preemptive programming, because they have to find a way to put it out there, whether it's subtle or now it's pretty much blatantly in our faces. But I heard that too, that
And now I mean, it used to be pretty much like where you kind of had to read between the lines, but now it's just right dead smack into your face.
oh yeah,
Yeah, they
I
used
mean,
it's
to be
so
almost
much
hidden.
so,
insulting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
It's
I was
very
telling people
insulting.
about Washington D.C. for 40 years, how that city is laid out and stuff like that. No one believed you, but
Yeah.
now it's everybody knows it. But it's just
Yeah.
over the decades gets weakened down, and people are just so used to it. Just like 5G, when 5G first started coming, that technology, there was protest meetings, town meetings, all this stuff
Oh
going on.
yeah.
Now no one does anything. Now it's all 10 years later. It's just accepted, and no one says a word about it. No one
Well,
fights.
it's a yeah, because it's a requirement now. Like, oh, we need a tower. Otherwise, first responders won't be able to get cell service and know where to go save people. Or they sugarcoated it in so many ways and made it sound like we have to have this. And where do they put all those towers? You see where they put all these towers?
Yeah,
They're
right. Right next, yeah, in our apartment
all
complexes, right?
yeah,
Buzzing near my head,
or
right?
schools.
School. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
The thing is,
Uh,
if you don't have 5G, the majority of the population can't play their bubbles game on their phone, and you got to be able to pop the bubbles. You know what I'm saying?
How are
it's
you
so
going to level up if
crazy.
you don't keep up with those games?
It
Oh,
is so crazy,
the
man.
That's the
tragedy.
truth. That's
That's
what it
true,
is.
Oh
I
god.
actually.
mean, you see these games these people play. I mean, 40, 50,
Yeah,
60, 70 year olds is like, are you kidding me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All day
you
long
talk to
playing
them and they're
games.
like, "Well, I've been working on this game for like 3 weeks. I need to keep up with it, or else I'm gonna." It's like you make it sound like you can't make groceries without leveling. I don't. Yeah, I know what you mean, Tom.
It's
I
sad. I
I heard
mean,
remember
about that, Tom. I heard about it.
I remember people like doing things. This was way before cryptocurrency, right? But people like doing stuff for like World of Warcraft gold or something. Like I don't know how it works,
Oh,
right? But they would use it as actual money. Like, oh, I'll give you this much World of Warcraft gold if you do this for me or whatever. Like fix my computer or whatever. Like they were
yeah.
using it. Yeah, it's like actual money. I'm like, what is this World of Warcraft? I never played it, right? But there's like accounts, these video game accounts, right? If because you have your password or whatever, and
And
if
they'll
you're
sell the account to you.
yes, if you're
My
like on a certain
son.
level or whatever, like oh, that's level
Yes,
something, blah blah blah. I need to have like thousands of dollars, man. People are buying these, accounts. Not even a
that's
game.
That's funny because for a while, my ex husband and I, we were wondering like, where's our son getting money from? Because we were kind of worried like he would come up and you want to go grab something to eat? I'll pay. I'm like, really? You will? With what money? And turns out he was doing that. He was creating these accounts and he was leveling up so high, so fast. And then for people that didn't want to go through all the work of having to get all these weapons or get these, stuff for this person in this game character, then he'd turn
Crazy.
around and sell it and people would pay. I was like,
Yeah.
don't do that anymore. Oh my god, that's freaky. And he must have did it
Well,
for like a year before he could actually start a real job.
Well, think of where we are now, right? With the metaverse and all that. Like, this is going to be an actual job, right? Like, that's a career,
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be nuts, man. I think it was Chris who sent me something where, like, people are getting assaulted in there, groped in the metaverse.
Oh,
This is horrific, man. Like,
seriously?
because what are the laws and rules, right, of this place? Is it like have the laws and rules caught up to what this is, right? Because I know
Right.
that how like the with the invention of like cell phones and how fast data goes and all that, and these interest rates in other states and all this stuff, right? Like in online gambling, like there's a lot of things that like grew faster than the laws.
Yeah.
And there was all kinds of offshore this, offshore that, and it's going to be insane if there's going to be like the Wild West where you could just do what you want until the laws catch up to you of what this metaverse is.
Is there even a law against that? If you were sexually harassed on a metaverse because it's virtual, it's not like
Yeah,
physical.
that's right. Yeah,
Can
but think
you
about that.
even like you
That's
can't?
still an emotional experience, right? Like if somebody does that to
Yeah.
you, right, real or not, right? It could leave you with some post traumatic stress. I mean, I don't see it as any different, right? Just because it's not physical, right? If you don't want it and it's happening, it's not right.
Have you guys
Yeah.
ever tried that virtual reality? Have you ever put
No.
on like one of them
No, I
headsets?
haven't.
Well, I
Have
tell you
Have
you?
what,
you?
I've tried it, and within seconds, you are literally blown away and have no idea where you're at. You really believe you're there. A buddy of mine, I stopped gaming probably 6, 7, 8 years ago, and a buddy of mine had bought me the latest Quest, I think it's called. Those things,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't accept it. I don't. There's no way
Oh,
I'll do that or put that on, or because I mean it's mind numbing and it's all harmful.
You
yeah.
can't
Well,
get,
You
can
have
know,
you
you?
distinguish it from reality? Can you tell the
No,
difference?
no, and I'll
I
tell
don't
you
think
what. I'll
people
give you a good
can.
example. In my office here, my workspace, I've been in the same spot for 8 years. The first time I put a headset on, I had a kid working for me that had just bought one of those, and so he goes, check it out, try it out. So I put it on. Within 3 seconds, I had no clue where I was at anymore. When I took the
Oh my
Wow.
headset off, I was
goodness.
actually facing in a direction totally opposite of where I thought I was actually at. Because I mean, once you get this on, I mean, you're in a 3D world. You're not.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is unbelievable.
Well, have
Wow.
you? I don't know if you've seen some of those. They're supposed to be funny YouTube videos of people sitting there in a living room with these glasses on, and all of a sudden, like this woman just leaps right into the wall because in that
Right.
metaverse she's seeing, she
Right.
thought she was jumping a stream or something. But yeah, you physically forget that you're still in a living room, and they destroyed the television. I think one guy like swung his arm and hit the screen, and it was crazy.
Oh my
And I'm
God,
telling you,
man.
just in a matter of a couple of seconds, you're lost.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it is insane.
Imagine that's going to be that kind of goes hand in hand, Stephen, with remember that time I brought up that movie Wally, where
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
people in the future are just fat blobs
yeah,
floating on little scooters with a screen 6 inches in front of their face.
yeah.
What if it's
Well,
just goggles?
do you
And
know
that's
like when like in the Bible, like when they're talking about like the Tower of Babel and
yeah,
phrases like they were all of one mind, right?
yeah,
Like it means something different when you think, right? Like if they had technology back then, right before the flood, what was everybody were they all chipped in the head? Is that why everybody was thinking as one and working so well together? Like, was it
maybe.
really hive mind, or because it makes you wonder, right? Because Nimrod was not a normal human being. I mean, these people worshipped him and followed him, right? And so that was the
Right,
last time there was a unified world with all one, right? And
right.
so that you wonder what they can do now. Like this will be like the days of Noah, man. This is it. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, man. It's
But I
spooky,
think
man.
but everybody's impression of the times of Noah is so primitive that we don't think that there was any technology. But it's
Yeah.
an interesting. I love Rob.
Well, I
Rob
think
always says
yeah,
comments on the chat that just blows
Rob's
my mind.
wonderful. I would
He
love
says,
Rob to
"I
come on the
bet."
show. Really.
Yeah. Well, he said, "I bet in the future those headsets you put them on and you won't be able to pull it off.
That's
What if
right.
it's something that's like attached to us that we have no choice?"
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, I
and
can
that
see them.
it'll be on the nanobot size scale. It won't be on the size of these goggles they got now.
Nanobot.
It'll be so tiny. I mean, just a chip the
Yeah.
size of a grain of a rice can handle all your medical and financial, everything about you, all your records. I mean, and
Well,
they've
Yeah.
had that for 20 years.
In
Just
the
And then it,
'90s, right? In the '90s, right, when we were watching The Matrix, right? We see them in the pods, right, with all the goo and all that. Like you can't picture that as being that it could happen, but now that looks like it could happen. You put the virtual reality on somebody, plug them in the goo, and they're off and running in
uh,
another world.
it's
That's
kind of like that movie Lucy.
spooky, man.
oh yeah, that's right.
But you
That
make sure you check out that movie Anon. Anybody listening, it's unbelievable how the technology they're showing in there, and that's the virtual reality without having a headset on. Every like
Okay.
and everyone's hooked up on the same. You got different
Yeah.
security levels, so you could like I could look at you, Shannon, and a screen will come up like a heads up display type thing, and I can know everything about you that I'm authorized to know,
Wow.
and vice versa. It's a like a murder mystery type thing with future technology,
That sounds like something. I know it
and
sounds
it's
weird, but
neat.
that sounds like a good movie.
You
I
like it?
I'll check it out. I will, Tom. I will. I'll be thinking about you. But I
Okay.
promised only I promised only 2 minutes, but I like lost
No,
track of time. So
No
it's
worries.
great. You're a good addition. I'm glad that Tom got to meet you. To be on here and stuff. And
did Tom ever see the hear the clip that Faith and Chris and I did of our
oh
impressions of
yeah,
Oh, I
yeah, he
loved it.
enjoyed that.
Okay.
Oh, I
Yeah,
oh, that was fantastic, you guys.
yeah,
I just love talking about you, Tom, because you are all about the funny stuff. You
You can do that
yeah. Guys in
accent
the
so good.
Midwest. So
every time I see your avatar on, I'm like, oh babe, Tom's on.
I
Me and
know
my
that's
All right. Well,
great.
family.
I love you guys. I'm gonna let you go, but thank you for
Okay.
letting me join for a
Yep.
minute.
God
Okay.
bless you.
Thanks for
Yes,
coming
of
on.
course.
Nice to
Anytime.
talk to you.
You too. Bye.
Well, Tom, it's time to hit the old dusty trail.
Yeah, we got to answer a question. That guy wants to
Yes.
know. He says, "Who is God and what is His name?"
Beautiful question.
How many
Would you like to
names do
take
you
that?
want? I mean, Elohim for one, huh?
Well, I
Jehovah
like this.
Jireh for another.
This is what I like. I like the Lord Jesus Christ.
I am
Yep. I am YHWH, right?
the
Or
unpronounceable name. You got it. The Yod Hey
YHVH.
Dava Hey. Yeah.
Because this is the problem, right? If we just say God, right, without, because here's the thing, right? There's only one way to salvation. No matter what, if you believe in anything else, right, other than that, um, the Father sent Jesus here, right, to die for our sins, live a perfect life, and die for our sins, right, and to know that not only did He raise him from the dead, but Jesus ascended to heaven on his own authority, making him equal to God,
Absolutely.
So that I think it's important to know that, right? Like I think it's important to know that because if you don't, then you got to go in the lake, man. And that
and,
sucks, right? That
and you're
sucks,
not going
right?
to be doing much swimming.
Yeah, that's no good, man. And
No,
I
it's
can't, and here's the thing, as much as I wanted to prove, right, that there's no eternal conscious torment, I can't disprove that, and
absolutely not.
I'm the one that likes to err on the side of safety, but here's the thing, right? I can't I it's at least you're going to go in there and burn up bad and like chaff and poof, right? And at the worst, right, it's eternal conscious torment. And
Well,
so if that's even 1% chance, I'm not rolling those dice.
the thing is, the latter part is biblical fact. You will burn in hell for eternity. I mean, the Bible clearly states that there is no none of this. I'm just going to burn up, and in a few seconds, I'm nothing but ash. You're there
Well,
forever,
there's
forever.
some. I know I get what you're saying, right? And I read it that way too. But like there's like it's like in the wording, right? Like the devil and his angels, right? Or it'll say like, okay, this is the bottomless pit or the outside. There's like all these different names for hell, and
Hmm.
there's like it doesn't specifically say, right? Like it's like technicalities will get you there, right? And I know that's kind of a chintzy way to build precept on precept, right? And I don't disagree with you, Tom, right? So don't get me like that. I'm
Right,
just
right.
playing the advocate here, but is that I forget what I was gonna say now.
But like
That it
this,
doesn't. Oh yeah, it doesn't actually say, right? Like okay, the wages of sin is burning in hell forever, or you know what I mean? Like you never get someone that says if you don't do this, you're going to eternally be in conscious torment. However, there's a lot of indication in the Bible that would lead you to believe that that's what's going to happen.
the
Does that make
chances are
sense?
so good that that is true that there's absolutely no way that I would risk my eternal security on
You're
something so
right.
foolish.
You're
just
right.
to be safe.
I
You
know
know what
it.
I'm saying? It's
Why
like
play
I'd rather
games,
be
man?
if
You
put it
know?
like this, if what we all we believe is wrong, and then when you die, you just die, and that's it. It's over with. Okay,
Mm,
I'm put it like this. I'm saved, so if I'm right, I gain heaven. If I'm wrong, I'm out nothing.
that's
If you
right.
don't,
That's right.
if you don't believe in God, if you're not saved, and when you
Right.
die, there actually is a heaven and hell, you're in
Yeah.
trouble. If you and I
And
die and there's not a heaven or hell, we're
and,
okay.
here, and here's
And
the
if there
thing,
is one,
right?
we're okay.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Like, I don't even want like I'm more afraid of God being disappointed in me. You know, like if I get in front of God and He's like, "Oh, I don't really like you, man." Oh, my lip would be quivering, man.
Well,
And
I
that
can
would be
tell
the
you right
worst
now.
feeling.
I can
That
tell
would be
you
the
right now.
worst feeling.
I can tell you right now. He ain't
Yeah,
happy with us.
I know it. I
But
know
I
it,
mean,
man. I know
just
it,
because of
man.
his love for us,
And that's
you know what I'm
it, right?
saying?
But it just makes me want to do the right thing all the time, right? Like
Right.
it does, right? And then what's crazy is, back to the trolls, how we started this, right? Is people bringing all that stuff up as if it's like, as if as they're twisting it to sound worse or to make you sound like you're part of it or whatever. And then it's like bringing, it's like, why are like I'm trying my best over here. I would be good for someone to if they're looking for spiritual guidance or if they're looking for someone that could point them to a teacher or something like that. To say something negative about me, right? When it's not true, it only hurts other people, Like I am a safe place for people to go. I'm a good dude, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to say that I mean human terms,
Well,
it
put it like
bothers
this.
me because I want to help people.
It's like this. When Satan attacks people, he doesn't attack the people he's already got working for him, right?
Yeah,
That's why
you're
Christians
right.
get attacked so hard. And
That's
even more
right.
so, like you say, this last 6 months or a year, the I don't know what word to use, but the persecution that Christians are suffering like I say, within their own community is just it's unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah,
and a lot of it is, people been scared, of this boogie virus, and I mean, there's just so much
it's
evil
nasty,
going
man.
on. I mean, it just and you got people at odds on whether or not to take the death jab or not. In their own family, and that's amongst
Yeah,
Christians. So the wheat and the tares are really being sifted right now. The
yeah.
chaff is being it's just unbelievable. I mean,
And we're
that's why
gonna
we just
be
got to stay firm, no matter right to death, no matter what.
and we're gonna be trolled no matter what. Like it's gonna get worse. Like this is nothing really. Like I don't even know why I even mention it. Like I should just have a thick skin about it and expect it. Because
Yeah,
we're gonna get persecuted way worse, man. We're gonna get like
it's going to get worse. Absolutely.
we're gonna get physically chased down the street, killed probably, and maybe even because we don't want to take this jab, and it's coming up to where it's gonna be a choice.
Right, right. No, it's
You
coming.
have
Yep.
you're either gonna have to take the job or you're not gonna be able to live.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to live, you got to take it, kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that. I don't want 10, 12, 14 of these things. I don't want it.
I don't want one.
But I see where it's going, right? It's not going to be one, you know?
Dude, they're talking about monthly.
No, 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 man.
Monthly.
No, no, man. No, because that's not real, man.
I
This is nefarious from the beginning, man.
But they got so many millions of people already jabbed that now they're dumbed down. They got things going wrong with them. Now they got to get another one to fix what just happened from the last one. And it's just,
Oh, I
once you
choose
get the
death,
first
man.
one, you're screwed, man.
I'm not going to be anybody's zombie, man. They said there's people now like that like and who knows what's true and what's not, right? I mean, I take everything with a grain of salt,
Right.
but they're saying that the IQ is down 20, the average IQ is down 22 points to 78,
I believe
right?
it. I
And
believe
that
it.
that well, this is what's crazy about that, right? Is that 78 you don't have the ability to have abstract thought.
Right.
So, in order for you to believe in God, you have to have someone tell you that there's one. You can never conceive it.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're going to
That's
get these implants in you to implant thoughts and memories and ideas
oh
because you
my
can't have
god.
your own. Think about that, Steve.
Oh my god, dude.
It's bad. It's bad.
Dude, we're at war, and it's like there's only like a handful of us, and we're never gonna convince enough people to like.
Stand up.
Yeah, there's. I mean, we're
No,
not long for this way.
the dumb downing, the brainwashing, the indoctrination. I mean, it worked to perfection for these people,
It
right? I
did.
mean,
Yeah,
2,000 years in the making, and it's here. I mean, it worked.
their plan absolutely worked. We lost the world, man, before
Yeah.
we were born, probably.
Oh
And we
yeah.
didn't even know it. Like in the 80s, we're all chilling, right? Thinking we, we were like, we could make it. And, I got this many years left. I'm going to buy a house and blah, 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 right? And forget it now. Forget it.
Right. Right.
Like none of that was real, right? So this is what I'll say to people that are trolling, man. We got real problems out there, man. Knock it off, man. Use your brain and your talents or whatever for something right. You know what I
Something
mean?
good. Right.
Yeah, please,
Better
man.
for the better of
You know?
mankind.
Yeah, I mean, not only, I mean, they're even better, too good for this shit. Come on,
Hmm.
man. You know. But anyway, so I'm gonna say, praise Jesus for His sacrifice and His grace. That's what it's all about. Without
Amen.
Him, there is no. I mean, forget it, right? It's the only way to win, and it's over,
The
right?
only way. Absolutely.
And I'll say, all glory to God. There's nothing that's good that ever comes out of me that's not from God. I'm just a guy barely making it, right? All glory to God. And pray for the children. And I'll see you guys tonight at 5 o'clock. Thanks, Tom, so much for coming on.
You're welcome, man. Peace out, guys.
God bless.